honestly, I feel like I need a drink for this video. Ooh. Hey y'all, it is me, Laur A, here with Plan with Laur. I'm your best friend and your go-to gal when it comes to all things planning, productivity, and how to use the resources that you have to plan today for a better tomorrow. I know that here on my channel, I share a whole bunch about our wedding planning process, and I've talked recently a whole bunch about moving to New York City and a lot about how I plan and approach goal setting. But I also wanted to set the record straight and make sure that you know me. And while I'm always honest with y'all would call me out if I wasn't. I just wanted to make sure that you knew the real me. So a couple weeks ago, I went over to my Instagram page and I asked y'all to go ahead and submit some assumptions that maybe you had about me. Now I will say that I wanted it to be anonymous because I didn't want it to be like tied to any single person or anything like that. And I was trying to figure out if there was an anonymous way to do that on Instagram. There wasn't. So kind of what I ended up doing is I had you guys all submit it. I promise you, I did not read any of them. I did not look at them, but then I had John Michael go ahead and select some of them that he thought, you know, would be relevant, juicy, whatever it may be. And so he has left me with a list of questions, but that's all that I have. As I am reading them out here for you, I mean, I just took a look at them, but like, I haven't thought about them. I haven't been able to prep for that, like nothing. This is real, honest, unfiltered. What do we have today? We have a Splendrift. Come on. We're gonna do this together. So like I said, I enlisted the help of John Michael to go ahead and collect these. Honestly, even just from a quick glance, I think that some of these answers are probably gonna end up surprising you. Let me know if you have any other assumptions or if any of the assumptions that I end up sharing today surprise you in the comments down below. Okay, so the first one says that you are very kind. So first off, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. This is kind of shocking to me because like kindness and empathy is actually something that I think is a little bit of a blind spot for myself. It's something that I'm actively like working on in my own personal therapy journey. Just in the way like that I was raised, if I know you and I feel comfortable around you, I think in that way, like all my best friends would say like, yeah, 100% that tracks. But I think maybe if I don't know you, I might come off as a little bit cold. And that's just like my own personality. I have a lot of like protective walls and barriers up. I will say that I'm like very scared of being like taken advantage of, like embarrassed or things like that. And so I've put up these own walls, which sometimes comes up as cold or as rude. But the assumption that I am very nice, like that makes me feel like I am breaking out of my shell a little bit, and that who I truly am is being able to be seen like on the inside and on the outside. Number 2, that you are living your best life. Yes. Oh my goodness. 100%. There's this like trope of living your best life means everything's going great, everything's awesome, like you have no worry or care in the world. I want to say that part of living your best life is definitely not true. Like I have my own, like as everyone does, like I have my own struggles, have things that I'm dealing with, like am emotionally going through my own things. And so I think that those emotions, having emotions of sadness and frustration and anger, while also being in a very good place in your life, can both coexist. So I will say from one standpoint, I'm getting married to the love of my life, always like has been something I've dreamed about forever, and specifically with John Michael for the past 6 years. And so like, that is so awesome. We got a puppy, like I have little Min and she's the cutest and the best and I love it. And we are in a city that I have dreamed about being in for the past 4 years. Like I've wanted to live here and now we're making that a reality. A huge thing that I love is content creation and connecting with you guys, and that's doing really well. So I think that had you asked me this question 6 months ago, the answer probably would have been different. But yeah, I'm really happy right now. As for everyone, life is multifaceted, and like, yeah, there are some things that, and just like everyone is going through things, but also like I'm in just a really, really good place. I feel like for the first time in a long time, I'm like feeling like I can breathe. Next assumption, that you always have a sunny disposition. That one makes me laugh. Okay, so I will say that this is like the person that you see on camera is that like who I, like if we were to hang out, if you were to like be with my friends, like if we were getting out drinks, this is like the disposition that I have. But I will also very much caveat. Number 1, you get to see an edited video or an edited Instagram post or whatever it may be. So like if I say a curse word, which comes out of my mouth a lot, or, I do other things, like I can easily edit that out. Number 2, you also see me after I've had at least 1 cup of coffee. And I try not to show up on stories or film prior to 10 a.m. So no, I don't always have a sunny disposition. A lot of it depends on the time of day, depends on the season, the year, what's going on in life. I think like if you were to ask someone in my life, like, am I truly who I am on camera in person? I think that they would say, I know. I feel like I know that they would actually say yes. I don't feel like I'm putting on a front when I come on to camera. The next assumption is that I have it all together. We gotta take a sip. I feel like this is a good assumption that built off the last one. Like I just said in the answer, I get to edit and re-edit and decide everything that is put out into the internet or put out into the world when it comes to my platform and my content. So I feel like this one couldn't be further from the truth, but like very much appreciate the vote of confidence there. I hope I'm not giving off this vibe of that I have everything figured out. And so let me tell you some things that are true. I struggle to keep routines. I struggle to achieve my goals on time. I struggle with what my own definition of success looks like, and struggle with have my own mental health journey that I'm going on. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. What I'm trying to say is that I'm human just like you are. And that, like I said beforehand, you get to see a highly curated part of my life. And I am promising to be better and showing more vulnerability. And one thing that I preach that I definitely need to practice more is that there is power in sharing your journey. And I want to be a part of that in sharing my journey, the beautiful, the bad, the ugly, the messy, and the just kind of figuring it out, because I do think that there's so much power in sharing that with others. And one thing that I'll also say is like, I don't love winging stuff, like at all. But I feel like part of life is just kind of winging it. So I'm definitely there. Okay, this assumption is 100% true. And it is that you struggle to find perfection, but you are in a process of letting it go. Yeah, that's super spot on. Okay, I literally just talked about how I want to be more vulnerable. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to be more vulnerable when it comes to perfectionism. I grew up in a military household. Both my parents were colonels in the Army, which is pretty high ranking in the Army if you don't know about it. And I was always kind of referred to as their daughter. And I grew up not like, this was not necessarily something that like my parents said, but I think the prevailing narrative in the way that I grew up was like, oh, have been given so many tools, you've been given so many resources, you've been given so many opportunities, you will be successful. Like you are just primed to be successful. So when I went to school and I didn't make straight A's, or I wasn't super successful in school, I was like, what's wrong with me? Like everyone's telling me that I'm going to be successful. Why am I not successful? And so I think, and again, this is just like in the environment that I grew up in, like it has been very hard for me to not be perfect. And even though these were not pressures that were put on immediately by my immediate family, or like in more particular, like my family, it's just like the environment in which I grew up in. And it's just like for me, it was my personal experience in the military environment as a child of someone who lived on bases and who saw people who were constantly going to West Point and families who were just constantly excelling and being so great in things. And so when I wasn't naturally that way, it has been very hard. My parents in school just cared that I went to school. They could have cared less what my grades were. And they did not care whether I went to college or not. They were just like, if you want to go, like we will help you go. And so it's been very kind of interesting, kind of taking my own mindset about feeling the need to be perfect, and then kind of like what I feel like society's expectations are on me to be perfect. And then like, now we're getting really deep here, but I also think that there's like a racial lens, and to occupy white spaces as a Black person and to try to like figure out how do you coexist in that, and having to be more buttoned up and proper. But short answer, assumption, very much true. Oh. Y'all are funny. And this next assumption was that you were a cheerleader in high school. Man, maybe this sunny disposition is putting me out here. No, I was not a cheerleader. I played soccer. I played pretty competitively up until college. In college, I stopped playing because of injuries, and I switched from soccer to running. I did like play intramural soccer and stuff when I was in college. I was never a cheerleader. I always thought it was so cool to like be able to tumble and do things like that, even though I couldn't. So the next assumption is that you come from a wealthy family. So I think a lot of people would probably steer away from this question, but I want to share my answer with you. This is a weird question to answer because it's not a yes or no question. Also, like, money's very tricky and kind of taboo. I bet some people would really shy away from this. This is like what I said I wanted to do, so this is us doing it. I was afforded a lot of privilege growing up because both of my parents were in the military. And what I mean by that is because both of my parents were career officers in the military, I just had opportunities and privileges. So for example, one of those things is I had free 24/7 childcare. My parents could drop me off on the childcare at base, not have to pay for it, and not have to worry about whether I was safe or not. While I was at that childcare, I was also given meals throughout the day. So it's something that they didn't have to pay for. That is a privilege. Because of that, I've also, never really had to worry about housing or healthcare or education because of the benefits that we had through the Army. I was able to go on a scholarship when I went to college. I was given a little bit of a merit-based scholarship, and then the rest of it was covered by the post 9/11 GI Bill. So I graduated from college with no student loan debt, which is a privilege. And so I recognize the inherent privileges that not having to pay for childcare, not having to worry about education, healthcare, or housing, and being able to graduate from college debt-free, what immense privileges those are. My dad immigrated to this country when he was 15 years old. And I think that one thing that has really been instilled in our family is that when you have privilege, is to make sure that in the ways that you can, to use it for good. And so that's why I think that it's important that in whatever excess that we have, whether it's excess time, money, or even planner supplies, or even wisdom, it's important that we give back more than we take. You aren't as warm and friendly as you portray in your videos and your photos. I think this ties in a little bit to what I was saying earlier about how I'm able to edit and curate and put things outline. One thing that I can't continue to say is like, if someone who I didn't know, like if I was running with my headphones in and someone who I didn't know ran up behind me and stopped me, like, yeah, I would be pretty freaked out, and like I wouldn't react in probably a sunny disposition or a warm and friendly disposition. So, I think there's definitely always going to be a gap there. I think also one thing is that like I am excited, like genuinely excited every single day to wake up and to create content. Like it is the thing that lights my soul on fire. I have so much fun doing it. I love connecting with people in that way. And so, yeah, like I am so excited to create videos and to create photos and to be posting and to be online. And so there probably is a little bit of a gap between that and then like who I am on a day-to-day, which is someone who does not have a full face of makeup like this. I have a bun on the top of my head and I'm like doing chores and errands and working and doing a whole bunch of life. That being said, I have actually never like met anybody who follows me in person. It's something that I'm really excited about. I think the first opportunity that I will have to do that will be at Go Wild in 2022. So if you are there, please come and say hi. I would love to meet you, and then you can tell me whether I am as kind as you think I am online. That's what we're gonna end on here today. So let me know, what do you think about these assumptions? Have you thought any of these about me? I wanna do more of this, so let me know if like we're into this, or if you're like, just go back and talk about planners. So I hope that you learned a little bit more about me here today. And that's all that I have for you guys. So if you are new here, hello, hi, my name is Lauren. I hope you decide to stick around by hitting that red subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday and Thursday. And as always, y'all, my name is Lauren here with Plan with Lauren. Oh, my earring just fell out. And I'll see y'all next time.